Hare Krishna. Happy Janmastami, everyone. Most auspicious day of the birth of Lord Krishna. Our most worshipable object. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavala Kirivaradari. Jaya Gopi Janavala Kirivaradari. Yasodhanandana Braja Janarandhana. Yasodhanandana Braja Janarandhana. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavala Giri Varadari. Jaya Gopi Janavala Giri Varadari. Yasodanandana Praja Janarandana. Yasodanandana Praja Janarandana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, today reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, Verse number 7. That's 637. Let me know when you got it, James. You got it? Adastam eko bhutanam sheshvaranam adishvara sastadanda daronrinam subha subha vivek subha subha vivek chanaha. Okay, I'll do the word for word on the next verse. Let's read this. I read this translation. Translation: the supreme judge must be one, not many. It was our understanding that you are the supreme judge and that you have jurisdiction even over the demigods. Our impression was that you are the master of all living entities, the supreme authority who discriminates between the pious and impious activities of all human beings. So, of course, this is the Yamadutas addressing Yamaraj after being bewildered and seeing that their master had their master's authority had been challenged. Okay, text number 8. Tasyate vito dhando na loke vartate duna chatubir adbhutai siddhir agyate vipalambita. Wanna try, James? Yeah, just one line at a time. No. Say like, just like how I just said it. Yeah. Tasyate vikito dando na loke vartate duna chatubir adbhutai siddhir agyate vipalambita. Synonyms: tasya, of the influence; te, of you; vihita, ordained; danda, punishment; na, not; loke, within this world; vartate, exists; aduna, now; chaturbi, by four; adbhutai, very wonderful; siddhai, perfected persons; agya, the order; te, your; vipralambita, surpassed. Translation: Okay, the Yamadutas are continuing. But now, but now we see that the punishment ordained under your authority is no longer effective, since your order has been transgressed by four wonderful and perfect persons. Okay, purport. The Yamadutas had been under the impression that Yamaraj was the only person in charge of administering justice. They were fully confident that no one could counteract his judgments. But now, to their surprise, his order had been violated by the four wonderful persons from Siddhaloka. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Puchatam Sakana Raghunatam Bidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakambitam Sha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll read the two verses again. The supreme judge must be one, not many. It is our understanding that you are that supreme judge and that you have jurisdiction even over the demigods. Our impression was that you are the master of all living entities, the supreme authority who discriminates between the pious and impious activities of all human beings. But now, we see that the punishment ordained under your authority is no longer effective, since your order has been transgressed by four wonderful and perfect persons. Okay. So welcome again, everyone, to one part of what will be a day of transcendental festivities in Gitanagari, the service wonderland. So yes, it's like just trying to contribute to some of the transcendental wonders of today. So just a little about Janmastami. Oh man, where's my phone? You see it? Oh yeah, I think it's next to my Viva. Is it? Okay. So yeah, Janmastami, obviously a very special day. And sometimes you might wonder what to do on Janmastami. No. Dang it. Uh, okay. It's not next to the Mridangas? So yeah, so Janmastami, obviously probably what's in the forefront of people's mind is that they have to fast And um, and yes, the reason that we fast is not for some bodily benefit, although personally I think my body could benefit from fasting today. Um, but it's actually the whole point. Well, let me back up. I was going to pull up some quotes. Um, there's a quote in the ninth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the verse, Satatam kirtiyanto mam yatantascha tridharvataha. Yeah, the Krishna's saying that my devotees, they perpetually worship me, they offer obeisances to me, and they, engage in my service with determination. So Prabhupada goes on to say something about this word determination. And Prabhupada says that there are certain days where fasting is recommended. And by fasting, and those days are, the Ekadasi and the appearance days of the Lord and his devotees. And uh, by the determination to fast, then one, becomes very dear to the Lord. So in other words, we're showing our determination to be devotees by fasting on such days. And then also in the Nectar of Devotion, there's a section about observing the festivals of the Lord. And so quickly in like a paragraph or two, it's explained there that yes, one should um, perform very ceremonious functions for the Lord, and and it's very important to observe such festivals. Like I remember one time in my early days in Atlanta, I wanted to go out on book distribution during, it was like one of the appearances of one of the acharyas. And this senior devotee said, no, we're supposed to observe these festivals. Uh, so yes, observing these festivals is a very important part of our culture and, ultimately our being able to um, develop love of God through observing these festivals. And as the Bhagavatam says that, one can give different aspects of one's energy. There's different forms of energy, right? Money, your physical energy, your mental energy, your intellectual planning ability energy. Um, so some energy you should give towards these festivities on this day. Um, whether it's in the form of resources, in the form of planning, in the form of just giving yourself physically, doing some physical service, and in this way, you are, contributing to the the grand ceremony of the Lord. And in general, today, like the reason we fast, yeah, it's not like I was saying, not for some bodily benefit, although I could use some of that. It's actually, if we think about how much energy we use in a day just to eat, like 3 meals, you gotta prepare the food, you gotta like walk to the prasadam hall, you gotta clean your plate after. What to speak of, then you have to digest it, then you have to use the bathroom, you know, take a shower after you use the bathroom. So it's so much effort just goes into like just eating. And that those activities aren't necessarily gonna invoke your love of God. Of course, eating prasadam, you know, keeping one's body intact for the service of the Lord is good. But the whole idea is, yes, by limiting this one activity of eating, then we have so much time for other activities, um, engagement in the service of the Lord. So, yes, so one senior devotee, senior Maharaj was saying also that, according to the Vedic injunctions, for example, Garbhadan samskara shouldn't be done on this day. Someone might think, oh, well, I want to do my, Garbhadan samskara on, Nishingadev Chaturdasi, and then name my kid, Nishingadev Priya Das, something like that. But it's actually recommended on these days, those activities are not engaged in. Why? Because better to engage in direct devotional service. So today is not a day to, you know, plan your career or to, call your relative that you haven't called in a while, or, if you usually do 6 hours of yoga, maybe do four and a half. We want to limit the bodily activities, and increase the nine process of devotional service. Um, so yes, as much as we can limit, maybe you can do your laundry tomorrow, maybe you can clean your room tomorrow, things like that. Better to read, like James came to showed up in person in Bhagavatam class today. Is that you, James? Yeah, that's you. James and Madhapan Leela should have shown a good example of doing a little extra, you know, activity that's going to benefit their devotional service on such a day. Okay. All right. So in this verse, okay. So in this verse that we read today, um, did you hear the verse, Madhapan? I'll sum it up. James will sum it up. The summary is, don't worship. Okay, my takeaway from it is, don't worship imperfect leaders. Um, does that sound right, James? Yeah. So so we see that the Yamadutas are like bewildered. They saw that Yamraj wasn't the all in all, and that actually even Yamraj has to listen to someone. And so they're bewildered by this, like their whole foundation is being shaken. Um, yeah, it's a natural tendency to kind of worship some great personality. Like Prabhupada says, like even some people were worshiping Hitler during World War II because there was some uh, their business was getting benefited, so they were worshiping Hitler. And yeah, as we hear in the Bhagavad Gita, it's natural. It's natural to worship some great personality, to have awe and reverence for some great personality. Like I remember one time I was on book distribution and approached this like teenage girl, and she was sitting down at her table eating, and as she was eating, she had set up a little altar of like her favorite boy band leader. And it was like, that's just what she did, When she sits down to eat, boom, she pops out the picture. She's there, he's there. Not sure if she made offering to him or what, but um, you know that. But you can see this tendency is very much there to kind of yeah worship somebody who's great, idolize someone. Like yeah, when we would go on a work tour, we'd see this so much. Like this one work tour, everyone there was this one big band there. What was their name? Black, Black Crows. Shoot, Black something. Not the Black Keys. The Black something. The Black Day. I don't know something. And so usually every year there'd be like one. Every year at this work tour there'd be like one big uh, band there, like a main band. And this year the main band was the Black whatever. And so everyone had especially had the shirt on their shirt was like this guy's face, like the leader of this band. And one devotee girl, young girl, we passed through her, you know, house on this tour, and we know their family pretty well. And so the mom approached me. She said, can you get a signature from this band?" Um, so I was like, okay, yeah. Because we were like backstage with all the bands and stuff and mingling with them and giving them prasadam cookies and like that. So okay, I had this task. Now I have to get this signature of the big band, the biggest band that's there. Yeah, so I was there and was I found the manager, and the manager like invited me into this like tour bus, and then he's like, I gave him the CD and he's like, okay, I'll go get it signed. So he goes, and he leaves me with one of the band members. And I was just like, okay, I'm just here with this dude, he's just smoking a cigarette. So I had to make a little small talk. I was like, oh, oh, are you in the band? I asked him. Are you in the band? And he gave me this look like, are you kidding me? Like, do you know who I am? Anyways, come to find out, this was the guy that was on everyone's shirt. Somehow I didn't recognize him. And somehow I made a big operade by asking him if he was in the band. Um, so, so anyways, yeah. So everyone has it's a natural tendency to worship someone, idolize someone like this. Um, and we can see that there's a verse. I was trying to pull it up. I couldn't find where it was. Maybe somebody knows. But there's a verse in the Bhagavatam I think it's in Prahlad section of Prahlad, saying that yes, this attachment is natural. It's natural to become attached. Um, so better is to become attached to a sadhu, because by that attachment, then one can ultimately be relieved. So yeah, this is our process, is actually, of course, becoming attached to Krishna, but uh, Krishna comes in the form of his representative as the spiritual master. And we can see that yasya deva para bhakti yatha deve tata guru tasya te kadita yata prakashande mahatmana. So this I forget where this is from, but Svetasvatara Upanishad says that one who has faith in both Krishna and the spiritual master, to him then all the import of the Vedas are revealed. So this like full faith and reverence and uh, commitment to the person of the spiritual master is is so important in our life. yeah, like literally we should make our spiritual master our everything, and that's ultimately how we become advanced. So we can see that those devotees who you know who have done that, um, they make so much advancement. Like our Dhruva Maharaj Prabhu, he's some like one time like his Holiness Devamrita Swami wanted to call me or something, and I like I don't know, did like delayed my running to the call for a second, and he just couldn't understand. Like he's like, how could you even take like a breath before just running to our cabin to talk with him? So he's just so so uh yeah, convinced that just this intense attachment to the sadhu is the way to attain all perfection in life. Um, yeah, so ultimately surrendering to the person of the spiritual master. Um, and just thinking that, because I'm thinking what gets in the way of that, and a lot of the time it's actually this envy. So there's a verse that says, one should not envy the spiritual master. In other words, one should just yeah, fully have appreciation and glorify the spiritual master. That's why it's sometimes a little risk. It's a little risky. It's said that like some of the most dangerous positions are being a pujari and being the personal servant of the spiritual master, because by that close association, then one is kind of opening oneself up to like making aparadhs. And seeing, yeah, as we see, one should never see that the spiritual master is like an ordinary person. I can remember a Sankirtan leader used to say, when you go before the spiritual master, you should see that they have four hands like Vishnu. Like, well, Matt, think about that. You'll probably listen to what they say at that point, huh? Um, Especially if you imagine they have a club in their hand and a Sudasana chakra. So, yeah, this is the vision that one should have of the spiritual master. And the envy comes out also in just not wanting to accept the spiritual master. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to accept the spiritual master. But that's uh, one is yeah one the reason one doesn't want to generally is because one doesn't want to give up that so-called freedom. I want to be able to choose what I do. I don't want someone telling me what to do. Yeah, it comes back to this point of envy. I don't know if they really have my best interest in mind. I don't know if they're actually competent to give me proper guidance like this. Um, So yeah, the perfection of our life is actually giving ourselves to the spiritual master like this, full surrender to the order of the spiritual master, and fully taking their instructions as one's life and soul. So another point that I thought of in this verse, because uh, yeah, just these verses are kind of talking about like this idea of uh, morality, yeah, morality and like what's right, what's wrong. So we see that, well, we hear that, okay, Krishna actually resolves all uh, contradictions because we see many places it said that the Lord walks, but he doesn't walk. He's close, but he's far away. He's within everything, without everything. So there are many kind of like contradictions that can be associated with the Lord. Um, but Krishna actually resolves all of them. Um, Krishna is completely transcendent to all these things. Like even, when Shishupal in the Rajasuya Yagya, after the yagya is performed, then there's, or maybe during the yagya, there's one part of the process is to give, respect and honor to the most exalted person in the assembly. So as Krishna's in this assembly, um, some persons were suggesting that yes, Krishna is this most exalted personality. And then Shishupal, who was, like I was mentioning about envy before, yeah, Shishupal was from his very birth, Shishupal was blaspheming the Lord. Of course, he was making lots of spiritual advancement because he was saying, Krishna's this, Krishna's that, always thinking of Krishna, but uh, it wasn't exactly the most favorable way. And so Shishupal was saying, who is this boy? We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. He doesn't belong to a high family. We don't know like what his uh, what his caste is. Like in other words, there was many uncertainties about Krishna. Or also sometimes we see that, yeah, this idea of Krishna danced in the rasa dance. He was dancing with so many people's wives, and someone might think like, how is that moral? You worship some god, but your god is like just a debauchee, dancing with other people's wives. But Krishna resolves all these things. That's the point. Krishna, um, as yeah, as one as Devamrita Swami tells a story about, he was at a home program and then someone started in the middle of the program confronting him like that. That Krishna's just this debauchee, like womanizer. How do you worship him? And then Maharaj felt like, oh, I better say something. This person's blaspheming Krishna in a public assembly. So he told him, he said, um, he said, you're actually the immoral one because you think that's your wife, but that's actually Krishna's wife. So you're actually the immoral one to, you know, be pretty much, yeah, taking this lady who's actually Krishna's wife, and you're calling her like your own. Um, so in this way, yeah, or Krishna is a thief, right? How Krishna goes into, the gopis' houses, takes all the butter, and I like that when Krishna is confronted, he's like, "Mother, they're trying to say like your butter is not good enough for me. Like, how is that so?" Um, so yeah, Krishna goes into the houses and he's like stealing all their butter, peeing everywhere, and like that. But actually, there's nothing wrong with this because it's actually everything is Krishna's property. So in this way, Krishna resolves all contradictions like that. Um, yeah, Krishna resolves all contradictions by being the supreme person that got it, and then therefore being aloof to all these things. I was gonna say one. I was gonna. I lost my train. Or my the train was going somewhere, but it missed the stop. I forgot what I was gonna say next. Um, but yeah. So of course, in our movement, we've kind of there we have a history. We have a history of trying to imitate these stealing pastimes, and devotees like going around to all the neighbors' flowers. And yeah, imagine I'm looking at all these flower decorations now and just thinking, what if we just had, gone to a neighborhood and just completely taken all them, this vine thing that's on Prabhupada and Dasa sign. Oh, you can see it, yeah. What if we just went to someone's wall and took it? Of course, they probably wouldn't mind. They'd probably think, thank you for taking these vines off my wall. My wife's been trying to get me to take them off for years now. And then these lights, what if we just went to someone like, oh, took off their Christmas decorations. No, we're going to use that for our Janmastami celebration. So yeah, these things were done a lot in the early days. What do they say? What do they call it? The liberation or something? Liberation? A lot. Well, I know there was one thing, Lakshmi liberation, where they would go around and just like steal pretty much. Or not steal, but maybe be a little overly enthusiastic to acquire money and call it in the name of, Lakshmi liberation. So that's yeah, I think we've our movement's matured a little now, and we don't have that same zeal and uneducated enthusiasm to where we think like that. But still, the points there is that yeah, Krishna resolves all contradictions, and we should actually we can take that as um, a reaffirmation in our lives that yeah, everything will ultimately be okay. Right? So many times we're doing some service and we kind of stick our neck out for Krishna and do something not knowing how it's going to work. Um, it doesn't seem to make logical sense, but we're just like, all right, I'm just going to go for it. Um, like, yeah, last Tuesday I had to deliver these packages, and somehow I left for the post office with 5 minutes left. 5 minutes on the clock. I had to get from here to the Port Royal post office. And I was like, no way I'm gonna make it. No way. But whatever. I literally, I have to get these packages out. I have no other choice. So let me just, you know, try my best. And so, you know, remembering how Kala Sroop said there's only like two police cars in all of, you know, Juniad or Port Royal and Mifflin Town or something. Very little police force. So with that in the back of my mind, I thought I could be a little heavy on the gas pedal. And I was late, but somehow, the mail lady was like walking out right at the right time. I pulled up and, the mail lady, she's not the not the nicest person in the world. She's nice. Maybe not, I won't call her I wouldn't say she's in the top 10 nicest people in the world though. But somehow she was like, okay, is it already paid for? I said, yeah. And of course I said, yeah. And she thought she just had to take it in, but she actually then did have to do like a little scanning. Anyways, the package got there, and just one little example of how things work out like this. Um, so yeah, in our life, we 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 might think we can calculate and make so many decisions like that, but ultimately, by surrendering to Krishna, then yeah, Krishna will take care of everything in a way that's best for our spiritual life. And we can be assured of that by, like I was saying earlier, surrendering to the spiritual master. because then by surrendering to the spiritual master, then we can know that we're in line, we're protected, we're our actions are in line with the divine. And Krishna even says it in the Bhagavad Gita. What's that verse? As they surrender unto me. Or no, sorry. Uh, Krishna carries what we lack and preserves what we have. Can I remember one word even? Shh. I think the sh. I think there's a sh in there. Shema? No, kuntiya pratijanihi name bhakta pranasati. Yeah, Krishna is saying that he carries what we lack, preserves what we have. So, lastly, I just want to say that there's on this Janmastami day, um, it's a great day for engaging in service. As temple devotees, we're all pretty much our life is engaged in service, but especially today, we try to minimize the bodily activities and engage more in the processes of devotional service, contributing to this great ceremony. And I heard, a few years back, His Holiness Amrita Swami gave a Janmastami lecture, and he was saying, did you find the verse? 922. What's the first two verses? First two lines? Ananda Chintayantama. Oh, I didn't even have that Kunti up. That wasn't even part of it, huh? Oh, whoops. Okay. All right. I was wrong. I didn't even have one syllable. Right. But Anantas Chintayam Mam Ye Janas Paripashte Yogakshema Pahamya. Okay. Um, so yeah, Maharaj was saying on Janmastami that we can take this day as a rebirth of our commitment to hearing and chanting. So, life may have got away from us a little, whatever the case may be. We can use this Janmashtami day as a day to uh, recommit ourselves to the foundational principles of bhakti, which tend to slip away in the course of our life because you know if you don't it's not like if you don't read Bhagavatam, then the bills aren't going to get paid. So it's sometimes not seen as an immediate need. But yes, recommitting ourselves to strong hearing and chanting, to giving the time, the pride and place to our japa, and in this way fortifying our bhakti. Hare Krishna. Okay, I will stop there and ask for any questions or comments. Madhapan Lila.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for class. Amazing. I was wondering, I was playing how Krishna like protects us, or he gives us what we need to take care of us. Like a good example of the man. So, how much do we endeavor for our own maintenance if we know that Krishna anyways is going to take care of us?
How much do we endeavor for our own maintenance if we know that Krishna is going to take care of us? Well, as His Holiness Rida Anandamar says, many senior devotees have cut their lives short on the strength of or justification of taking Mahaprasadam. So, yeah, it's it takes yeah, we have to take care of our body. And at least for my life, I can say, okay, well, my spiritual master did tell me that, so therefore Krishna is looking out for my physical well-being via the spiritual master. And Prabhupada said also, so many things on about staying healthy. So yeah, one can. That's one aspect is that Krishna through the spiritual masters, is telling like us to take care of our bodies, for example. Mm. But Krishna can ultimately do anything. Like if we're not able to somehow, then it's not, definitely not beyond Krishna to make up for that lack, but uh, it's a little risky at the same time, a little risky and irresponsible. And the mood of the devotee is I don't want to burden Krishna, so um, better to take care of one's own body so that Krishna doesn't have to. Yeah, Krishna doesn't have to. Krishna's resources don't have to be used for our, to take care of our body because and paying medical bills because we didn't take care of our body ourselves. But were you talking mainly about health?
There's something about health, but also about like, yeah, just like hard to know.
Oh, health. Okay, so she, my point was that question was in reference to health and also just general livelihood. So I heard an interesting thing by His Holiness Kadam Swami. He was saying that to the degree we have faith, to that degree, then we will serve and be confident that Krishna will take care of us. So it was interesting. Like, like, yeah, if one has that faith, then okay, one will be, because ultimately, if one has full faith that okay, Krishna's going to take care of me, then that faith will lead to a very active service life. Like, yeah, Krishna is going to take care of me. Krishna is the goal of life. My position is to serve Krishna. This will bring me all perfection. If one has that conviction, then one will do a lot of service. And to that degree, then Krishna will take care. But to the degree that, oh, yeah, I have some faith in Krishna, so therefore I'll serve Krishna, but at the same time, you know, I'll reserve some of my energies for my own safety and comfort. Um, yeah, to that degree, then we're actually like limiting how much Krishna will give to us because he says, "Heyatamma prapadyate," as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So that to the degree we surrender unto Krishna, to that degree he'll look after us. It's pretty far out, huh? Like how Mars phrased that. Yeah, so I guess one just has to be real, like how much faith you have? How much are you willing to just like gamble on Krishna? I don't know. Maybe it's a good point because we hear also you should be responsible. But how can Krishna not take, for one who is fully surrendering to him, Krishna's gonna take care of whatever, one wants kids, if one wants to serve a temp, serve one of Prabhupada's projects and give their full life to it, and I can't see how Krishna wouldn't um, take care of everything that's required for that to happen. At least theoretically. See if I could put that what do they call it? Walk the talk. That's interesting. But I don't know how Krishna wouldn't take care. If Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's within everyone. He's maintaining the biggest elephant, you know, how's he not gonna? But it might not be according to how we want. Like we might have some idea how we want our life to be. And so therefore you can try to make your life how you want it to be. Um, but you know, if you're surrendering to Krishna, then you're saying, "Here, Krishna, like whatever you want. Like I have certain things that I think could help me in my service, but ultimately at the end of the day, like whatever you want, sure would make for an exciting life. I mean, either way, life is going to be exciting, but um, if either way life's going to be exciting, might as well make it a life of Krishna exciting. Okay, thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Vamos lá, obrigado, Jaya. Vai muito se lá para a cama, te manda. Para te lá para onde se privar, Shiva Sakyasiddham Sanskritam Shamana Prabhupada Brahma Vaishnavim ki Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamatum Bharatam Giri Govardhan ki Vrindavan Sham ki Mathura Dham ki Navadvipa Dham ki Aganath Puridham ki Rangamayamidamaiki, Vivasani Bhakti, Samaveta Bhakti, Nitai, Prabhupada, Shri Krishna Jamashtami Mahamahotsavaki. All glories to the Son of Glory. Glories to the Son of Glory. All glories to the Son of Glory. Glories to Shri all glories. Glories to the Lord, thank you, Lord, for the and now I will know the peace and great all repentance. By his grace and across the ocean, chill and suffer, take and fish. By all visions shall run madness, purify and the works of the meeting from the sun sound. The passion for the free, passion and all of time. He always planned out the plan, filled by the functions, and the other ones. He did not build a great dream. Now he that have a memory, solving in children, thinking, having, not for the right, all without forgiving but then the breath of woman you one of them. They do not embrace about that now